After 10 years in the Spanish property game, I recently made a big mistake that costed me a lot of money. I hired the wrong builder and it backfired big time. In this video, I'll share exactly what went wrong and more importantly, how you can avoid to do the same mistake. I will break down exactly what to do and step-by-step guide on what to do when you hire a builder, a plumber, a painter, installing air condition or whatever it is you need to do. I'll break it down step by step and I will also reveal the brutal truth about the hiring help and builders here in Spain. If you are enjoying videos like this, give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. It really helps out for the channel to grow. And also, if you are considering buying a property in Spain currently, I have created a step-by-step guide on how to buy the property in Spain, how the taxes work, how to avoid costly mistakes that expats do all the time. It will save you time, money, and you will have a lot of knowledge on exactly how to buy property in Spain. It's 10 years of my experience being down here in Spain, working with property for foreigner buyers. The only thing you need to do is click the link in the description down below to download this free property guide. Completely free. Just click the link down below to download it and I'll see you in the video. So the truth when you are hiring help here in Spain, you need to consider maybe you have done renovations already. Maybe you are in a situation right now where you are considering doing some upgrades, some renovations, some painting, maybe changing the air condition, do some plumbing, electricity work, or a complete full-on, full-scale renovation of your property. What you need to consider in this situation is that many workers don't give a written estimate when you are asking for a quote. So maybe they come over to your property, they have a look around, they see what the work is to be done. Maybe you are changing the floors, maybe you are changing the kitchen, or maybe just painting the apartment or your house. And they have a look around at the property and then they don't give you a written quote. Maybe you are normally from your own home country, you normally get a written proper quote which you can look from. But here in Spain it's quite common that they don't even give that. I remember one of my first properties I was flipping here in Spain. It's a few years ago now. But I remember I had a contractor over to give me a quote. And I was going to do a full-on renovation. It was a new kitchen, new flooring, even new staircase for the property. It was the garden job. It was quite a lot of work to do. And I remember when he was there, I asked him for a quote, like roughly ballpark, what do you think this will cost? And he was answering, I don't know, maybe 15,000, maybe 20,000, who knows? So I asked him like, yeah, but will you give me a written quote at least? So I have to know before I take a decision if I'm going to do this or not. And he was saying, nah, I don't know, we'll have to see. Maybe it's 20, maybe 30,000. We'll just have to wait and see. That was a huge red flag. So I understood immediately that I could not just hire someone and not knowing the price. That is quite common as well. And I'm not saying that they try to take advantage of you or anything like that, but some people actually are, because if they don't say a price, they can say the price after the work is done. And they can put on a few thousand, even more than that if they want to, because now the job is done and you didn't know how much it will cost. So keep that in mind. They don't always give a written estimate. Another factor to consider, which I have experienced from my own experience. Keep in mind, I have flipped a lot of properties. I have a rental portfolio. I have done a lot of renovations here in Spain. And keep in mind that also delays is very common. I usually see that even if a builder says it will take maybe 2 months to do the renovation, it definitely takes 3. If they say 3, it will take 4.5. So always add, 20% of the time they say at the end the time of it, because it's very, very normal with delay. I have never had a property that I had renovate and they were on time. That has never happened. I even see that with new built properties. If you are considering buying a new built property here in Spain and you buy it off plan, you will probably also see that if they say a year from they start building until completion, it will never take a year. It will take at least a few months extra. Just keep it in mind that the time is a factor, and if it is time sensitive, be very upfront with the builder beforehand. The prices are often very fluid here in Spain, so maybe they say that the job costs 10,000 euros, and then maybe as the work go and down the line, they will maybe add another extra grand because they will say that some unexpected happened, or you know, it's never going to be cheaper than the estimate. It's always go the other way. So if they say a number and it's fluid, it will go towards the other end. It will get more expensive. That's why it's very important to have a written estimate. Some builders here in Spain don't declare the income, which means that they don't give you an invoice. That doesn't protect you, because then you officially didn't take the job from them. So keep that in mind as well, that some builders, you need to ask them, will I actually get an invoice, or are you a registered worker here in Spain? Do you have a company? Are you autonomous? Or what is the backstory when you are getting the job done? And this is a lot of things I need to think about myself even now. After 10 years in Spain, flipping and renovating a lot of properties, I still burn myself when I do construction work. So this video is for you, so you can avoid to do these mistakes, but also a reminder for myself. I can look at this video later, and when I do the renovation, I can actually come back to this and see the mistakes to avoid, because this is the fundamentals, what you need to do. And now I'm going to reveal the solutions for exactly what you need to do to avoid the common mistakes here in Spain. Step number one, when you are doing some work at your property and are hiring help, is to get at least 2 or 3 quotes from different builders. And also keep in mind that all the quotes should be in a written estimate with the price, with the breakdown of exactly what they're going to do, and also what it includes in the price. Does it include material? Is it only for the work? And what exactly is included in the price. Also keep in mind that before you start working, when you actually choose one of the builders and you have coming to an agreement with the price and when they can start, which is also an important factor, ask them when they can start, when they are doing the estimate, because a lot of the builders have a full schedule and cannot start before 3 months, and maybe you need the work done right now. That's an extra tip as well. But also when you have an agreement on when they are going to start, when you have an agreement for when they are going to start and what price it is, always important to also sign the estimate, not only have it in a document and that's it. It needs to be signed from you and the builder with the time estimate. And if anything unexpected happens, what will you do then? Step number 2 is to ask them if they are self-employed, which in Spain here is called autonomo, or if they are working in a company. This is the reason for this is so you can get an invoice and get the proper documents for the work. Make sure everything is legal, and this is also one of the reasons you can claim a guarantee if something goes wrong. It's a lot easier to make them to fix if they made any mistakes down the road with the renovation, which is also quite common. Let's say they renovate your bathroom and then the bathroom starts to have water leak in a month. If you get an invoice and it is a proper company, then you can actually claim that they come back and fix it. But if you just pay them cash in hand, who knows, maybe they will come and fix it, maybe they won't. So that is step number 2, always get an invoice, always document everything, write the estimate down, sign it. And now let's go on to the 3rd step. Step number 3 is to demand a timeline for the work. So if they say on the estimate or on the inspection that it will take maybe 3 months, get that in writing as well, together with the estimate. And as I mentioned before, sign it, make them sign it. So you have a timeline, you have a price. Also be sure with the timeline that it should be any penalty clause if they are delayed or some unexpected happens. At least then you have some clear expectation, and they know you're getting serious when you start signing quotes, estimates, and also have a timeline. They take you a lot more serious, even though you feel maybe a little bit more strict. This is important, it's about money, and at the end of the day, it's just business, it's not personal. Step number 4 is a very, very crucial step, and it can save you a lot of money. This step is never pay 100% of the money up front. Always pay in stages, never 100% up front, because you never know what happens if you pay 100% up front. I'm not meaning to scare anyone, but if you are paying 100% upfront, I've heard a lot of stories that maybe the builder can just take off and you lost your money right there and then. That is one of the reasons. Another reason is because if you pay 100% upfront, they might be a lot slower and not do the work properly. But if you pay, let's say, it's quite normal to pay maybe first payment can be 30%, then another 20% or directly to 50%. Quite normal because they need to pay for the materials. They need to get going, order materials and pay their workers if there are more people in the company. So that's quite common, and then you pay in stages as you go. Always do an inspection as well when they are renovating. I can absolutely recommend to go to the property at least a couple of times a week, maybe more. Let's say you are doing a complete renovation and it will take 3 months to do the work. Then you definitely want to check in on them, maybe 2-3 times a week, just to see that everything is going according to plan, that they are doing everything as you wanted it to do, because maybe they do something on the fly and you want to make sure that not any unexpected things happen down the road. And if it does, you are at least early into it and can modify or change it exactly how you want it to be. Also, at the end of the renovation, when they are completely done, a very crucial step is also to do a full-on inspection. Bring actually notes with you, even a notepad or some documents to actually walk through the property, have a proper look, write down everything they have done. Is anything missing? Are the finish not very good? And then of course you don't pay the rest of the money. Maybe let's say you hold back 20 or 30% of the payment. Exactly at the end you do the inspection. If you're not happy with anything, don't pay them the rest before they have actually completed the job and you are 100% satisfied. And if they don't want to do anything or you're not actually happy with the work, it's nothing wrong with holding back 10% at the end and not pay them the last 10% if they did not complete the job as you wanted and as you agreed beforehand. Everything on the estimates needs to be done. You need to be happy. You are the customer. The customers are always right. Here in Spain it might get a little tricky because they have their view of things. Step number 5 is to keep communication in writing. So that means on email or WhatsApp, because as you go you're going to communicate with the builders and you want to do that in writing. Here in Spain it's actually more common doing WhatsApp, especially with the builders and the workers. So keep it in writing, have the dialogue there in case some unexpected happened down the road and you need to go back and actually look at the messages and have everything in written. A bonus tip is to always use referrals and check their previous job. You should always get pictures from their previous job and maybe even ask for the phone numbers or referrals to check that they did the work properly. This is quite a crucial step as well, just to make sure that they have done proper job earlier. You can also check on the internet, check if they have any reviews, check if there's any red flags, and if they don't are on internet and they don't have any reviews, that might raise a red flag. Yeah, so just make a little bit of research. At least then you want to check the referrals even closer. So to the mistake I recently made just a couple of weeks ago, and keep in mind I've been in the Spanish property game for now 10 years and yet I made a mistake. I had to do a plumbing work at one of my rental properties, and this was an urgent job, so I couldn't call the normal company I work with. I had to reach out to another one I hadn't worked with before. And maybe I got complacent because now I use a company. I use the same company each time. There's obviously trust there. I know their work. They always delivers. But since I couldn't use that company, I reached out to another one which I hadn't used before. I failed to do a lot of the things I just mentioned in the video. I didn't check referrals. I didn't actually do a lot of things which I just mentioned in the video. And that is one of the reasons I actually made this video, so you don't have to do the same mistakes. So I called the plumber. He came over to fix one of the pipes in the property. He came with his colleague. They started working, and then once they were working, they were there for a few hours. And then I was around there waiting, doing some stuff. I brought my laptop, so I was just sitting there and working anyway. And then once they were done, they said they were done, they fixed the problem. They took all the equipment onto the car, I went out with them, and then they said it costed 1,000 euros. And then I said, that sounds quite expensive for just a few hours work, right? And then he asked me like, yeah, how much do you want to pay me? And I thought, yeah, that's odd. He asked me how much I want to pay, so I just said, I can pay you half of it. And he was happy with that, so I gave him 500 in cash. And then he had like a paper, so I thought, okay, that's the invoice, because when he was giving me the price, he gave me this, he was looking at a paper, so I thought, you know, this is the invoice, or at least some official documents from it. That's why I paid him. So he gave me that, took the money. In the car he went, off he go. And then once I got into the property again, I saw the paper he gave me, and it was actually just a flyer of his company. It wasn't any document, it was nothing written, nothing signed, it was just a flyer of his company. And then that was a red flag right there. So I went up to the bathroom to check the pipes, check everything, and he hadn't actually fixed the problem at all. It was still the same, still the problem was there. So I was quite upset. That was money out of the window. But luckily I've been in the game for quite some time. I know obviously Spanish, I have lawyers, I know what to do in a situation like this. I called him, I was quite direct when I spoke to him, and I actually made him come back, give me the money back. I didn't give him much option, otherwise it would be legal actions to take. So of course he gave me the money back, but he wouldn't do that if I didn't speak Spanish, if I didn't actually call him and was very direct with him. So at the end I didn't lost money, but it reminded me of how things works here in the Spanish property game. It's quite scary that you need to be actually, as a client, being quite observant and quite careful when you are getting builders here in Spain. And I also think a lot of the reason is because when a Spanish builder see a foreigner, you are blonde, maybe have clear eyes, they see it immediately that okay, you have money. That's what they think. You know, you don't speak Spanish, you speak English, you have a lot of money, you are on vacation, you are on holiday, and they take advantage of that. And that's just the brutal fact of the world we live in. That's how it is. That's why I made this video, so you don't have to lose money. Simply follow the steps I made in this video and you won't lose any money. This is a list I wish I had and wish I knew when I was first getting started with renovations and the property game here in Spain. Simply following the step and you won't lose any money. So simply follow the steps I shared in this video. This is a video I wished I had when I started my journey here in the Spanish property market. This is common mistakes to avoid. What you can do, it will save you thousands of euros. So simply following the steps. And also, if you did get a lot of value from this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Also, I remind you once again that you have a free property guide in the link in the description down below. It also gives you a lot of tips on how to save a lot more money, like in today's video. Simply download it, it's yours for the taking, and as always, I'll see you in the next video. See you soon.